the grid late on for the hard rear compound. Weekend, Michelin did say if the track goes over 35 degrees, then the hard rear tyre certainly does come behind Valentino Rossi. Well, he's lapping at the same pace as his teammate Alex Marquez, who's a little bit further up the road.
Team principal keeping an eye on Johann Zarco, the championship leader. He won't be the championship leader as things stand.
Credit to Zarco, he got himself into the high 139s on that last lap himself. 39.8 on the start-finish straight. You bet he can. There's your answer. And it's a fairly emphatic one, isn't it? Quartararo and Rins yet 9.654 for Quartararo, immediately bettered with a 39.598 from Rins. Having to work so hard in the twisty sections of Portimao just to try and keep that position. And Zarco blitzes on by like mere standing still.
Alex Rins is keeping the pressure on Fabio Quartararo.
All he can do, try and force the Frenchman into some kind of an error. At the moment, it's been picture perfect for Fabio.
Himself in prime positions from the word go.
But it is far too late for him to have any impact on this Grand Prix.
Someone's gone down.
Yes, there's been another crash, hasn't there?
It is. Valentino Rossi has crashed. What a shame for him, because he just hit some decent pace.
At the start of this Grand Prix, we had three sets of brothers involved, Marini and Rossi. In the battle, and that's the Marquez brothers, who at the moment are 9th and 10th.
Bagnaia closes on his
recent record, Steve. Now that's just 12 points scored in his last 9 races.
I think he'll be pleased to get out of here. Jerez is a circuit he adores, and let's hope that he Binder in 7th, Aleix Espargaro behind him. Marc Marquez, to his credit, at this stage of the race, in 40s. Not bad at all.
Yeah, Franco Morbidelli's getting a hurry up as well. That's when he's going to catch out the doctor. Tips it in.
Oh, that went incredibly early, didn't it?
Yeah. Track limits warning for Franco Morbidelli. So he's got to be pretty careful. Maverick Vinales in the point scoring places right now, but 14th is not going to cut it if you want to win a world title in MotorGP.
And through he goes. Bagnaia up into 5th place now.
Luxury position is to make your passes on the brakes going into corners, which puts you in that really precarious zone when there's to get over that crest and attack. It's just like we said, free time. You don't really have to put in much effort as long as you...
Then Quartararo from Alex Rins. Zarco in a bit of a lonely 3rd now.
He's got some cracking pace right now. Resistance of the world champion, 39.7 on that last circuit for Johann Zarco. 10th at Marquez has just crossed the line to the 40 flat, which when you consider his physical condition and the length of time he's been out, 18 long days since Marc Marquez actually saw a checkered flag in the MotoGP World Championship when he was victorious and accomplished. He'll want to get a real good test on where he's at with that recovering right arm over the full race distance.
For months and months and months, people have been wondering how he'd come back. Look at these times from the two guys at 39.471 from Alex Rins. Almost identical times.
Rins is, at the moment, those cracks not appearing at all. Rock solid, isn't he, Quartararo? Every time Rins looks like he's going to exert that pressure to try and show Quartararo a front wheel. There was 1/1000th of a second between the pair of them.
6th in Qatar, 4th 2 weeks ago. He's going up in increments of 2 at the moment because he's not buckling under the pressure.
Yeah, and he's been asked some massive questions here at the weekend. The Yamaha M1 just gets that rear tyre hooked up and he can carry lots of corner speed, which is the way he's able to pull those 5 or 6 bike lengths on Alex Rins, which just makes sure that Rins can't get close enough.
Rins.
If Alex Rins finishes in this race 2nd tonight, Steve, he will be able to go on the day. You're just beaten by the marginally better man at the moment. Fabio Quartararo is in that position.
Because Bagnaia, someone's gone down. Bagnaia goes up a place. Who's crashed out? Who's crashed out?
He makes blunders at the worst possible time. Well, we said it was him that was putting pressure on Fabio Quartararo, on Alex Rins. And it's Rins who's caved into that pressure.
It's such an awkward corner to get right.
That mistake. He's done everything, and he can't find a way through, even to show Quartararo's front wheel. Cast your minds back to Austria last year. He just slipped up the inside of Andrea Dovizioso and crashed out immediately. And what very comfortable Sunday afternoon stroll in the sunshine to back-to-back wins here in Portugal.
Yeah, no surprise to see. He moved past Mir. He's now hunting down Zarco, and he's got much better pace as Pecco Bagnaia. This has been a fine run. Could have been done from pole position.
He's definitely going to be contemplating what might have been, isn't he? In terms of the championship lead, it might get a little bit worse for him as well, because he's going to have his hands full trying to keep Bagnaia at bay, and he can't do it. Bagnaia clean as a whistle, and Bagnaia now up into second place, and that does change the championship picture slightly.
Yeah, man, the only Suzuki man left in this race, the world champion Mir. He's in fourth. This is the battle for second then. Mir is now down and out of the race.
Rins blows a podium, Zarco blows a podium, he certainly blows the Fabio Quartararo. Championship rivals biting the dust. Quartararo checked out a long touch going into the Spanish Grand Prix in Jerez last year, where what happened? He dominated both races from pole. No, Jorge Martin after his high-speed spill yesterday, and that front went really quickly, didn't it, from underneath Joan Zarco.
Never so easy to be distracted.
That went so quick on Zarco, he wasn't expecting that, was it? It was almost like a...
Crashes up ahead of him. Marc Marquez is now in 7th behind him. Alex Marquez is 8th. Nakagami is what to say about Alex Rins. I agree with you, Matt. It's happened all too often, but two big men in this race have...
A bit of deja vu, isn't it, for this man, Alex Rins? You've got to give it so much credit to Fabio Shinichi Sahara and Ken Kawachi, leading management down at Suzuki. They cannot believe it, can they? And he's potentially 25, have gone begging here in the Portuguese Grand Prix, and he is absolutely inconsolable.
Ashton remounted as well. Survival of the fittest here in Portugal.
It's all this but what front row. He may well have been right at the sharp end of this race as well, with the likes of Quartararo and Rins, before Rins has put daylight now between himself and Joan Mir, almost half a second. Mir in turn's got a second then back to from in Qatar.
He's closing on Joan Mir. It's not over yet for him. Brad Binder's still doing an outstanding job on the KTM.
He's in Qatar. It's got even bigger here this weekend. He's digging himself out of some monumental holes, isn't he, Binder? 5th place.
The perfect start to the year in Qatar, unfortunately, comes down now from the helicopter view. Was he offline at all? The front end was just moving around a touch. Wasn't quite.
Ducati, well, as we mentioned, it's been a very punishing weekend for Pramac here in Portugal.
Bastianini again, he does this so often. I say so often, it's only his 3rd Grand Prix, but he comes on Army. Vinales is 11th, Luca Marini 12th, and then it's Petrucci, Savadori, and Lecco.
His pain threshold off the scale.
Morbidelli can definitely smell a podium. Yamaha rider, this would be the perfect remedy to a grim start.
Italian flag. They perhaps feel like Franco Morbidelli's honing in on a podium here as well.
Able to wrestle a podium place away from the world champion, Joan Mir.
South American roots, of course, through the pack from 11th on the grid. Now, how much has that cost Pecco Bagnaia rear tyre life right
as well?
And I would not want to be trying to race the Suzuki in a Yamaha, Steve, through that final sector. You're not going to latch on to the back of Bagnaia over the crest and then line up a move on the brakes down the hill.
He's been very unlucky, hasn't he, so from the Grand Prix of Doha. He's found himself in a position on the grid today which I think
Mir and Morbidelli behind him.
Crossed the line, yeah, Morbidelli's the faster man. Brad Binder. Now, if Binder catches this group, it's too late, surely. You could just see him in the background. That's an extra 50% from somewhere, because his pace in this race is about a second quicker.
Drive by Aleix Espargaro on course for Aprilia's, only their top six in their MotorGP.
What can you say about the man out front at the moment as well, Fabio Quartararo? This is a very different young man.
Different proposition to find a way through.
Who's that? Who is that on the left there? This is the battle for second between almost 4 riders.
Digging deep himself here is Bagnaia, desperate to cling on to that podium. Let's check, he's been untouchable today. Topped FP3, topped FP4, took pole position. Mir, a 10th just over behind Pecco Bagnaia. Franco Morbidelli desperately trying.
And Morbidelli. Quartararo's live heart rate just came on screen.
Shot up to 661 beats from the I thought it was coming up. F Quartararo, crash.
Yeah, same, absolutely the same. Through Alex Rins into a crash. Quartararo is well and truly fired up in 2020.
On the Italian, you've got to give an enormous amount of credit to Pecco Bagnaia, because he really has.
He's getting close. Does he fancy a lunge here, the world champion Joan Mir, or is he going to hold on to the first podium of the year?
The only place to end that second place. Franco Morbidelli, unfortunately, looks like he's just going to miss out on the podium, but a Walter
being made ready. Mir is going to try everything, but ultimately it's the power of the Ducati that will elude him. An excellent ride from Morbidelli. Binder as well in 5th. Aleix Espargaro 6th, and the returning Mark ahead of his younger brother Alex, with Bastianini finishing in 9th, and this is a scrap here. Well,
as we said, El Diablo in dreamland. That was pure class ahead of the field. Back-to-back wins for the second time in his MotoGP career. And he sees his confidence. And Johann Zarco. Great ride that by Pecco Bagnaia.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant performance.